It's going to be a while until we figure out exactly how everything has changed. It's going to be a while until we go through this. I have spent more continuous time, thanks to the wonders of social media and the like, listening to so many bits of information that provide me with the ability to understand what's happening. I want you to rejoice. Everything happened now because we are a different country. The president is a different person. You don't have to explain to him the rigors of these people's treachery. He was almost assassinated. We say that in passing. His own natural toughness is one. He's not one to bemoan this. He is not one to talk about this. But there are people who have been through bouts with alcoholism or drug abuse, or have survived cancer or sexual abuse, and it forever changed them to the point that they spend the rest of their life trying to come to grips with it. I have heard people say they were a cancer survivor, they were an abuse survivor, they were in war, they were subject to a variety of horrors, that they spent the rest of their life trying to understand and grasp. And these are strong people. Don't ever think for a moment that your ability or your desire to address something is a sign of your weakness. Oh, no, 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 no. It's the opposite. The weak way would be to just avoid it and to drink yourself into oblivion or crawl into a shell. And no. This is the strongest and the most powerful of people who do this. But understand what he's been through. Now, he's not going to tell you this. He is not going to tell you this. When you have the full force, faith, the vectors of evil directed and pointed at you, it changes you forever. He is going to change the rules. He knows what lawfare is. He knows how he can't trust Washington. One of the greatest things that he's going to do was a simple statement that was made, and I want you to listen to it. He said, or it was suggested, they're going to move the various agencies out of Washington. If you're going to be in charge of the Department of Agriculture, whatever that does, you're going to move it to Kansas, perhaps. Too Legit says you need to see the older lady wearing oversized glasses and nose ring. I've seen that. Very good. And thank you. And you should listen to what is happening right now. This is transformational. Let me say this again. Why do you think he's moving this out of Washington? Think about this. Nothing is done just in passing. Nothing is done for expedient, for cost cutting. There is a symbolic reference. This is the unraveling, the undoing of the deep state. The deep state is more DC. The shadow government is more the world. Think about this, my friend, very carefully. I ask you right now, everybody, as we speak, if you have not subscribed, do so now. Subscribe right now. If you have not done so, make sure that you are still subscribed. We get our stats back, and the number of people that watch and enjoy our product who aren't subscribed or are unsubscribed is incredible. So please do that. We are on a wonderful trajectory thanks to your love and focus. But now a word from our sponsor. All right, let's be honest. Society isn't exactly celebrating traditional masculinity these days. Being strong, being a provider, being a leader. These aren't just old-fashioned values. They're part of our DNA as men. But something's working against us. And that's the constant attacks being waged on our testosterone levels. That's right. The core hormone that makes us who we are as men could be getting hit from all angles: processed foods, environmental toxins, the constant stress of modern life. But here's what recent clinical research has discovered. All those attacks could culminate in a rise in your stress hormone called cortisol. That could be blocking your natural testosterone from reaching its potential. Think about it. Your body wants to be strong and vital and powerful, but it's being held back. That's why our friends at Sculpt Nation developed Test Boost. They've created something that works with your body's natural processes using 8 powerful natural ingredients to help you reclaim what's rightfully yours. We're talking about getting back to being the man you're meant to be. Their customers are reporting what real men want: more strength, better performance, improved energy levels. No weak, watered-down solution, just natural ingredients that work. Take back your masculine edge right now. Go to sculptnation.com/Lionel and save up to 51% off your first order. That's sculptnation.com/Lionel. The link in the description section is provided. Go there now. Don't wait. This deal could expire soon, and you've got nothing to lose with their money-back guarantee. One more time, sculptnation.com/Lionel. What do you think happens if we all of a sudden change the situs of the government from DC to Kansas or Casper, Wyoming? What do you think would happen? Think about this. Raul says, will Vogue feature Melania? If Melania deigns to traverse to grace the covers of Vogue, I will be very surprised. She is going to turn her back on all of this. It's a new day. Let me explain to you. Everything you say from now on, everything, I want you to preface with, is that true today? Is that the way it is now? Is that the way it is now? Is that the way it is now? I have a lot to talk about, and I want you to listen carefully. Great news. First, I want to ask you a question. And I don't want you to be in any way offended, because the other day we had a wonderful conversation. Somebody suggested, just in passing, somebody suggested, brought up the point that women were somehow unable to. I don't know what the word is. I don't know how to phrase this, but they suggested that maybe a woman could not be president. A woman, just by virtue of being a woman could not be. And I thought to myself, this intuitively doesn't make sense. Now, this might have been the rational person, or the person here trying to be rational. I don't know what the particular phrase is. But the question is this true? And then the question was, as you have said, as one of you folks said, in fact, our good friend Too Legit says, the number of people who are sitting before phones and screaming, most of them are women. Most of them are effeminate men. I don't want to say gay, because I don't think being gay leads that. A lot of people who are gay who are not effeminate. I'm talking about theatrical, effeminate. Did you ever have I didn't have this, but I've seen this before. A girl at the age of 15 who is out of her mind. Have you ever seen this? Any of you here, any ladies? Maybe you have a daughter, 15 years old, boy crazy, hormonal, maybe kind of stuck. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she's quote developed early. However you want to phrase this. Do you know a 15-year-old girl who is out of her mind? Maybe because it's estrogen. Maybe because it's these dips. Maybe it's because of pre-menarche, pre-menstrual, PMS. Who knows? That plus maybe feeling strange, maybe societally angry, maybe not figuring out what's going on, boys, kids, whatever it is. They're out of their mind. Okay. That behavior is seen in these people screaming into phones. The majority of these people who lose their minds are women. And there is a pathology that I am seeing that is only applicable to women. I'm going to go one step further. The Kamala trajectory was at and focused towards women. A woman, the Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, Beyonce, woman. If you look more and more of the people who represented her team were women, girls. You had a very, very effeminate man in all the wrong ways. I don't think a man, any man, for example, who has a heart, who is emotional, who loves his family, the father who, I love these pictures where this big brawny guy will be braiding his daughter's hair, or has a tea party with his daughter. Have you ever seen a daughter want to paint their father's fingernail? And the father says, I'm having a connection with my daughter. That's all that matters. That's a man. That's a man. A man is somebody who shows love, who is deep, emotional, everything. Tough, dangerous, lethal, sensitive, appreciative, talented, artistic, everything. It covers everything. This is, I have, we have a distant relative who, the young man is going through this period of time where he's the biggest clod, and he's going through a stage right now. He's like post hormonal. His whole thing is, he wants to basically go out and, we've been through this. He wants to lift weights. Hey, look at me. I'm, okay, fine. But we see this. That is something that is a wonderful balance of adult versus gender. What I'm trying to tell you is the people who sit in cars and scream, number one, do not want to, and this is, if you have not seen this on social media, you haven't been paying attention. You have not been paying attention. It is something that we've seen through the implementation of social media. This is my wireless mouse, but that notwithstanding. And what you see is these immature people who are sitting there and they're screaming. Number one, it's women who say, I want to be looked at. I will not be ignored. That great line from Fatal Attraction, I will not be ignored. Look at me. Feel my anger. My anger is warranted. My anger is deep. My anger is colossal. And you will listen to me. You will pay attention to me. You will focus on me. This is primarily a bunch of demented women. Please don't take this. I'm not going to explain my feminist, because I think the feminist, whatever that means, in the best possible way. Women deserve 100% equal rights to men, period, when they're able to meet the standards. Physical may be a different story. I have a friend of mine. Listen to me carefully. I love when somebody says, people have a hard time understanding how a thought can lead to a thought, lead to a thought, lead to a thought, lead to a thought. This isn't a ramble. This is a connection. This is a patchwork mosaic. I have a friend of mine who, for the longest time, has been in the world of comedy. It's been in every conceivable comedy show you can imagine. You name it. Anything on Comedy Central, anything on SNL, anything, if it's from a roast to whatever it is, you name it. Something happened to the world of comedy. And it was, forgive me, this angry, single, childless, not a cat lady, but this shrew, a crone, an angry, a leftist, but a leftist peppered and affected by this angry, feminine, frustrated, hateful tone of voice. One of the greatest examples was the woman regarding Bud Light, the Bud Light, whatever her name was. Remember Dylan Mulvaney? Not her, but the one from the corporate. Did you see her? You're going to start. You're going to see the chief of staff for Trump. It's the opposite. But understand what we are saying something. We have to be exorcised. We have to exorcise this person, this angry, frustrated, lunatic. They used to use the word hysterical, which of course they thought was associated with, the uterus. That's why they call it hysterectomy. And this mentality has got to go. These are the people who ran the various social media platforms. These are the women who hired other people. And it's not about women. It's about a certain form. Have you ever met black people who only see everything in terms of their race? Black this, Trump won because he's white. The blackness, as a woman of color, as a man of color, as a black man, as a black woman, as a person, as a negress, as my negritude, as the Black Lives Matter, black there, and they used to hire. They actually hired some token check mark quota. Here, come on, honey, you come in, you're in charge of, and they would hire law firms, corporate. They would say, here, look, here's our black dame. Here she is. Boom. You're going to sit there and you're going to see, we have a diversity person. What's your name again, honey? Lorraine. Okay, this is Lorraine. She's in charge of our diversity. You got that? It was all nonsense. So they would get this woman, and once they were there, she said, this is terrific. I don't have any problem. I'm making close to $1 million a year, and I'm just making these ridiculous edicts. We saw it before during the sexual harassment. Anybody ever been to one of those meetings where you meet and they have the HR person, they hire some outboard company to come in and show you a movie? I like a film strip. I like a nice film strip. Do you ever go through that? Of course you have. Trump ends that now. Let me say this again. Say goodbye to this. They're gone. They, BLM, these people, these angry, you might have seen this too. Go to a news organization, go to a network, go to a channel, see this angry, and I know this sounds, you can't say, look, I don't care. You can say whatever you want. It's the angry woman, female. Some are terrific. Some were fun. In the old days, sometimes there's nothing. Let me just say something. There's nothing better than a broad. There's nothing better than a broad, a fun, a woman whose mom, grandma, whatever, can throw a few back. Who's not going to turn you into HR, funny kind of body, respectable, but a tough cookie. Deep down inside, those are the greatest people in the world. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this prissy NPR, this woman that waits to be offended, sits back and has a tripwire. Their whole world is like a mousetrap, just ready for you to say something. And they're brought into the corporate world, and it percolates down into humor. That's why, as my friend was saying, there's no humor anymore. Humor is dead. It's either exceedingly filthy, and by the way, there's going to be a backlash. Sarah Silverman feels like she has to do. She has a very interesting Freudian connection with poop. She has a lot of fecal. Very, very, very interesting. She must have. Oh my gosh, something happened to her. She just loves this. But you're going to see some women who try to be ultimately gross, or like the Lisa Lampanelli years ago, really rough and filthy. And okay, fine. That's going to be a part of it. But what you're going to see right now is this complete expurgation of this. And the reason is, and work with me on this, when you work in a comedy place, if you work in a TV show, I used to work with a great guy, one of the, an absolute radio genius. His name was Randy Michael. It still is. And he used to have something in his contract. He would say, if you are, I don't want to hear you. This was talk radio. He said, I don't want you coming to work for me. And then you're going to pick up the phone and call up, before they were HR, it was called personnel, and say, listen, this guy is walking around. Yes, he has this phallus he has on the door. Get out of here. This is Animal House. Sorry, get out of here. You don't belong here. I want there to be this sense of raucous, profane. It's creative. I'm telling you. I worked with a guy one time who had in his office, he had an enema bag. He tacked it with the tube, and this tube was like a mile long, and the nozzle. He had it like almost like a mobile or some kind of a thing. And somebody complained, and he said, "Get out." He's been here. He's a very talented man. What I'm trying to say is, Trump's ending that. These people are done. They're finished. They're through. What we see on social media is the last gasp, where we're looking at them like animals in a zoo. They are looked at, they're laughed at. We're saying goodbye to them. Scream your ass off. Scream, honey. They are miserable. Now they're shaving their heads and they're withholding sex. But the one woman says, I'm going to go and I'm going to seduce your husband. I'm watching this. They are believing that somehow, despite all of this, that men would find them attractive, that they are, that they're what they offer to the world is their body, their pot of gold. Okay. They believe this. And what you're seeing is this last gasp of this. Do you remember the feminist of the 70s, braless? Do you remember that? Don't really see it anymore. It was a big deal. Braless. Mrs. L said that when she grew up, there was a woman down the street, actually hung a bra from the street. Women walking around braless. It was a big deal. And they said, I'm a woman, I'm a feminist. And they would kind of grow their hair out, kind of like in that Clute, Barbara Streisand. They wouldn't shave their arm, axillary hirsuteness. Women, it was, if you ever saw All in the Family, you hear this. We don't see this anymore. We don't see this, except in the case of Crypto Dominic. I wish for you to continue to elaborate on this in the coming months. Thanks, Uncle Lenny. Oh, we're seeing it right now. Thank you. We're seeing this on a level. Right now, we are enjoying this. Go to my YouTube channel at Lionel Media. My YouTube, my ex Twitter. And I'm sitting here and I'm these women who are shaving their heads and thinking they're going to make men pay. They're going to withhold their love nectar or their treasure trove, their honey pot, or whatever you want to call it. And that this is the way, because they hold that power over men. And these women couldn't get lucky nude on a Greek galley ship or in a prisoner of war camp or a pirate ship. I mean, they are hideous. They are twisted, angry, damaged people, and you're not going to see them anymore. This is the last emblematic. It's like this is the thing. This is the meconium, when mothers have a new baby. This is the first stool. It's what the baby's ingested in the womb. It's that first, you wait for it. It's the last gas. I'm going to clear this thing out. It's a Bezor. Somebody asked me one time what the Bezor is. A Bezor is a collection of a partially digested material that collects in the stomach. Bezors occur in humans and in animals. Sometimes the material is not digested at all. Sometimes it packages itself in the digestive tract. It causes a blockage in the stomach or the intestines. It also was used as some kind of a poultice or whatever. But that's what it is. We're waiting for this to pass. They are a Bezor, Bezoar. They're waiting to pass. They're feeling this. This is we're going to flush them as a meconium, as a stool, as a coagulated, almost like a steel wool clog. We're getting rid of this. Trump's here. This is what we're doing. So you're going to see a lot of people screaming and yelling. They don't know what to do. As we speak, there are various conspiracies within the White House meeting to deal with what do we do? How do we challenge President Trump? There's going to be a fight. This is a fight for freedom. This is the obstinate child. This is hostage negotiating. Get ready. You're seeing it. Know what to look for. You're seeing it everywhere. Your friends are going to see it. George Lenz, by the way, you see it with him. The level of disbelief from the left is remarkable. They're not, they're spoiled children. They're spoiled children. They don't know what to do. Their team abandoned them. Have you ever had a situation where, I hope you never have, but one day you walk into your building and it's locked, the padlock. Everybody's gone. They left. You know what that is? It's almost like it's the abandonment. You show up and say, wait a minute, I work here. And when you work at a place, you had friends and you would go to lunch with people. It's closed. It's done. It's finished. Done. Closed. Done. That's what this is. They don't understand. They're knocking on the door and says, there's nobody home. She never cared about this. Kamala left. Now we're finding out Oprah got $1 million. This one got $1 million. They were paying million. The workers didn't pay. They took all the money. And what these people do is like the mob. The mob, the boys come in. And the first, you've seen it in Goodfellas, they come in and they basically will go in as a parasite and they will take over your business, bring in all the receipts, and then, insure it and then burn it and toss it. And they are not a parasite. The parasite wants you to live. The parasite needs you to live. If you die, it's done. It doesn't exist. So it wants to leech off you, but it doesn't want you to die. These people come in, whether it's climate, military, they put out a thing, Ukraine, and then all of a sudden the jackals and the ferrets and the weasels and all of these, they just spin around waiting for this to throw them a crumb. Ukraine is a joke. And yeah, it affects some big, some post-Soviet, but it's a bunch of people who are gangsters who came up with this con where they said, what we're going to do is we're going to create this idea that Putin's a bad guy because we got to create the bad guy. And we have to send money and money and money and money. We make the money. You give $1 billion, it comes to us. It's different than what's happening in Israel. If you're missing what's happening in Israel, you're missing the story of stories. Orthodox Jews in Israel say, we're not going to fight. You want other people to fight? You're not going to fight? No, just give us the weapons. We're going to fight. What are you talking about? That's another discussion. This is the con. Climate, EV, DEI, setting up this. Years ago, Jesse Jackson used to do this. He used to do this in the music business, and to an extent, Al Sharpton, classic gangster. He shows up, Jesse Jackson shows up and says, we want something for the Rainbow Coalition. Your Atlantic Records or Capitol or CBS or whatever. It's like, what do you be? Well, you're not hiring enough black people. Okay, what do you want? What do you want to go away? Michael Bloomberg paid off Al Sharpton during his career. Al Sharpton is basically what will be called a whore. But he was less than that. He's a parasite. He's a tick. You pay him off and he's fine. He won't make us. By the way, he has no power anymore. Raul says the RadLeft are eating their cats and dogs. Well, it's funny. We're not done with that one yet. But this is, and thank you. This is serious. Are you following this? You should be elated by this. This is like something we've never seen before. There is no corollary to this. They're going to put people in the White House who aren't a part of the mold. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand? Would you grasp this? It's really, really, really critical. Now, let me stop for 1 second. I want you to listen very carefully. There are some very, very, very serious folks with very, very serious financial problems. And they don't need lectures on how we've seen ahead and how we planned accordingly. They need help. Tell them to watch this. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Right now, as I speak, this is a very interesting. I never talk about numbers or anything like that. Right now, as we speak, at this moment, right now, I am at we've been with me forever. We are at 285,000 subscribers, which is, I think, extreme. I'm very happy about it. People say, well, it's on 1 million. It doesn't matter. I'm happy about that. But it goes from 285,000 to 284,998, 01,999, and it's one of those things where I'm a number person. It drives me crazy. 11, 11, 111, the 11s. I'll look at numbers and oh, this is interesting because there's certain things. I'm either analog or digital, obviously by virtue, and certain things I'm very happy. So if there's any way that I can just suggest, if you have not subscribed, this would put me at 285. Now it's 998, 999. It's like enough already. Don't, please, so anyway, subscribe. Whenever you talk to anybody, that's all people care about. That's all they care. They don't listen to any of your shows. By the way, yesterday we found out that there was a fellow who was bemoaning the fact that he was losing, gutting, and hemorrhaging subscribers. He doesn't understand what's going on. I said, well, I don't understand. Christian says that he's funny. A CNN legal analyst suggested that Kamala could be nominated to the Supreme Court and replace Justice Sotomayor. That will never happen. She has to go through the nomination, but she's never been a judge. She's never been a judge. Last time this happened was, I think, Earl Warren. She's never been a judge. She's never been a state judge. That is preposterous. That is preposterous. Not because it's her, but I mean, that is preposterous. I personally would love Judge Andrew Napolitano. The only problem with that is, and I think he's at the top of his game right now. He is 74 years old, and somebody would say, well, we normally want somebody a little younger, because whatever. But I'm saying, you know what? I would rather get 1 year out of him. I know that because it's very actuarial when it comes to this stuff, but that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. We're on to something which is even more incredible. Now, let me explain to you something else which is important, and this is critical. They're going to tell you what you can and can't talk about. Let me tell you what we're going to be talking about coming up. Weather modification. They asked President Trump, would you release the 9/11 files? And I would say, no. There's nothing in the files. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is nothing in the files. Nothing. Nothing in the files. Nothing. Nothing. Do you remember what a Russell Tribunal was? A Russell Tribunal it was called the Russell Tribunal, also the International War Crimes Tribunal, the Russell Sartre, as you might say, Tribunal, or the Stockholm Tribunal. It was a private people's tribunal organized in 1966 by Bertrand Russell, Jean-Paul Sartre, Lelio Basso, Simone de Beauvoir, blah, 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 blah. And it investigated and evaluated and looked at the Americans' foreign policy and military intervention in Vietnam. And Bertrand Russell justified the establishment as follows. And he cited Justice Robert Jackson. By the way, I don't even think Robert Jackson was even a lawyer. I think he might have been not even a college graduate. He said, if certain acts and violations of treaties are crimes, they are crimes whether the United States does them or whether Germany does them. We are not prepared to lay down a rule of criminal conduct against others, which we would not be willing to have invoked against us. Let me tell you what's going to happen. We are going to lead, and we are going to see for the first time rational, normal people talk about what really happened on 9/11, so that you know the whole story. You've been given patchwork, piecemeal. You can go to this website. You can go to this person. This person may ratchet it up. This person may ratchet it down. This person may do this, whatever. You need to hear the entire story. I don't want the government files. I don't want FOIA. I want to have a tribunal, a Russell Tribunal that will be recorded, that will be put on. I will be the judge. And I will put on evidence, not just putting on evidence, but I want somebody to refute the evidence, to challenge it. Maybe there's something wrong with it. I don't want it to be a preliminary hearing. We do this with the criminal court. We do with the ICC. And I want you to understand a very, very simple thing. It's a very simple thing. We may never get to the idea of motivation and players, but what we can talk about is that the official story and the narrative do not comport with rational thinking in terms of physical laws, structural design, metallurgy, architecture, engineering. It does not. Not to mention there are other things that have occurred. And when you watch the best evidence ever, you know how we have ringtones, ring cameras. A lot of times we have this. Sometimes there'll be a crime or something, and there'll be a ring thing in the background. We had a ring camera that day. It was called the actual coverage. As it evolved, and people were just running. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just running it. Same thing with the Zapruder film. Well, that was fixed. That was altered. But anyway, that's what I mean. And what I want you to do is I want you to say, we know this, we know this, we know this. The motivations, who's behind that, that's something which you can guess, but that's going to be a little tough. I went the government file on Building 7. No, again, my friend, there's nothing in the file. You're going to get the NIST report. And they're going to say, these are the files. You go, no, I don't want that. Not the NIST report. I want to have I want to talk about it's not, the government doesn't have that. So right off the bat, stop saying, I want the government files. I want the government. You don't want the government files. I don't want the government files. Did you hear that? They're going to have the biggest limited hangout ever is these Lou Elizondo and others going before Congress to say, okay, finally, we're going to speak the truth regarding UFOs. Don't waste my time. You're going to have it in front of the Congress? Forget it. It's not going to happen. Forget it. Where do you think the evidence is? Let me ask you something. Where do you think the evidence is? You think it's in Congress? There are people who say, for example, don't write that down. Don't take this note. No, what is this? Here, give that back. You think J. Edgar Hoover he would say, what are you writing this stuff for? Get rid of this. Crypto said, then I want that exposed that is not there. No, I don't want to. I want to turn away from the government. The government, Crypt, CD, is not, Big Dick, is not there to investigate anything. They don't investigate anything. Stop thinking the federal government. I don't care whether it's Trump, whether whatever. You're not going to have it. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have that. We're going to do that. Where do you think Bobby Kennedy did his most effective work? When he was a citizen. I'm afraid that when you make him a part of the government, you kill him. Now he's subject to all kinds of disclosure rules. Now he's subject to, okay, now you're officially in the government. No, not good. That's the problem. I guarantee you the most important findings have been on Joe Rogan and Lex Friedman and others. You do not stop thinking government. CD says, yes, indeed. Absolutely. If you want to find what happened, remember this fellow named Dylan Avery? Remember there was a thing called loose change. It's very interesting. This is when, in fact, even Candace Owens said when she was in junior high or something, she saw it. I am telling you right now, 100%. You can go so far and then you stop and you say, this is as far as I can take you. We don't know if you believe that the work you might be able to do something with this because this was, 23 years ago and these people are alive. If there is something like that, JFK, you will never, ever, ever get a conclusion you want. Never. You hear what I'm saying? Never. 61 years ago, they're dead. They're gone. It's not. You're going to have a file here. I've seen this. You're going to have this expert. He's going to say, well, we got the bullet hole. Okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to tell you, okay, this was a conspiracy. That's good. And the bullets came from back here. Okay. So that there were more than one shooter. Okay. Who were the shooters? I don't know. Well, who was behind it? I don't know. Was it Dulles? Was it the mob? I don't know. Was it Blake? I don't know. You're just gonna have this Imagine there's a mosaic and you're filling in the blanks and you step back and you say, ooh, I still don't know what this picture is yet. But I've got a lot of facts here. I've got a lot of facts. And each fact represents a tile. Each fact represents kind of like the paint by number. And you step back and you say, I don't know what happened. You will never find out this. You're going to guess. You're going to guess how this. And you're going to have to be satisfied with, well, you're going to have people, this one was involved in this. They don't meet in meetings. They don't have minutes. You don't have, do me a favor, call up the CIA, tell them to get NSA in the line, talk, make sure you get your best sharpshooters from DOD, bring them in from Delta. No, it doesn't work like that. There's nobody writing them down. There are people who are jackals. There are people, Perkins mentioned this, there are people who are ex-military, contract CIA, whatever. You don't really need all these people. You're not doing this stuff half the time. These things are very rare. You don't have this bevy, this onboard. You have to take people, and you have to take people who do not find themselves fascinated by virtue of the mysteries of everything. That's going to happen right now. You're going to have the best group of people ever. And what the president should do is just do something. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about what is and hasn't been said or what people are going to say. Do not worry. Just continue on. Continue as is. Continue. Keep going. But Mr. President, the moment you put somebody in your cabinet, you just limited their power. The new rules of if you want investigations, you do this. Let me ask you something. What was the most important piece of documentary or investigative work ever done regarding JFK? What was it? Quickly. What was it? What was it? What do you think it was? JFK. The movie JFK. JFK. Absolutely. That changed everything. They are absolutely, without a doubt, that was just a movie. And there was a lot that was wrong with it. That movie did more than any, even Geraldo Zapruder film, nothing. But that movie, it was a movie. It changed everything. The Warren Report was a joke. It was a joke. You know it was a joke. The 9/11 Commission report was a joke. Whenever you have the government's not going to, you know better than that. That's it. And you're going to have to get these people, and you're going to bring a lot of nuts, and they're going to come out. Some are very good though. Some are very good. Let me give you an example. Another one. Something happened very, very important, very, very fascinating regarding Diddy. What is going on right now is beyond anything you can even imagine. No, I'm not kidding you. And not only does it involve entertainment in Hollywood, but it goes so deep. And they don't want you to know this. Now, let me give you an example. There are people who come forward out of the darkness and they like something. They do a YouTube channel or something on Rumble, or they have a X, and they start to be known as the person who talks about this. And they're not happy with just saying, well, let's look at the evidence and let's see what happens. Oh, no. They want to see cabals and conspiracies and groups and covens and circuits and people, and they just love this. And the more they do this, the more hits they get. When you're saying, boy, man, you don't have any evidence of this. Suspicion, no evidence. I don't care about suspicion. Evidence. Do you have any evidence? No, I don't have any evidence. And then they go from this, and then they'll bring in, oh my God, they'll bring in all kinds of evidence about Baphomet, and they'll bring in this one, and then this one will say something about he heard somebody in Hollywood went like this, or went like this, or did like that, and Anton LaVey, it's Lucifer next, and then we're off to the races, and the bad guys are saying, yes. they'll never find us because they're all scampering about, pointing things out that are romantic, but there's no evidence of it. And there are other people who say, please, there's one, I'm not going to mention this one person's name, but please keep anything away from this person. That's going to change now. The president does not want to involve the government in investigating this. You need really strong, you need people with law enforcement background, people who've done investigations. But we have to, the only thing the president can do, and Elon Musk can do, I only ask one thing, just one thing. When somebody does hit pay dirt, and you can tell when they do, because you'll be hearing the screaming and the yelling, because you only take flak when you're over the target. You've got to protect them. You've got to protect them. You got to protect their social media livelihood. You've got to protect them. That's all. And that's the only thing. And they will do the work for you. They will absolutely do the work for you. You have got to shut down immediately fact-based seals of approval. Well, PolitiFact says this. Well, so-and-so says this. Well, no. You have to shut that down. Or discredit it as such. One of the worst things ever is Wikipedia. Wikipedia. You want to talk about false information? Go ahead. Good. Let me have something that says, name the person. And we don't like him. Okay, good. So let's say, here's YouTube, for example. YouTube says, Alex Jones for press secretary. Okay. I think it'd be great if you want. Let me stop right there. Are you saying that because why do you want him to be press secretary? It might be a good idea, but let me just ask you, why do you want it to? So he'll mix it up. So he'll be in fights with the, tell me. Extra Mile says, I'm off subject, but still thrilled about Tuesday night show with Ella Mrs. Oh, thank you. It was wonderful. We're going to do this again. That was a 6.5 hour barn burner. And thank you for that. Why do you want to have Alex Jones on? To just mix it up? Tell me. Why do you want to do this? Greg Gutfeld for press secretary. Okay. Is this for entertainment? Tell me. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do it? Please, I'm asking a question, and I'm going to try. I know you're just throwing names out there. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she's a governor. Yeah, okay, well, tell me what it is that you want to. Owen Schroyer. Okay. Why? I'm asking you a question. And by the way, unlike a lot of people, I was watching a show before, and the people who were doing this, I don't think even paid any attention whatsoever to the people who were in the audience. Why do you want these people? Why? Look at this one. I like this. Got here very late watching Dr. Campbell latest vid on pharmaceutical recall delays. So what's the topic? Thanks, Darlene. Darlene will walk into a movie theater. Excuse me. Pardon me. Can you stop the projector? Yeah. Hi. Look, I was on talking to a friend of mine on the outside, getting popcorn. I'm kind of halfway. What have I missed so far? Anybody? Well, Darlene, this started off with this is The Godfather, where this is Bonacera is coming to the Don. Okay. Can you imagine that? Hey, guys, listen, sorry, I was watching another show. Hate to say this, but what are you talking about? Thank you very much. Okay. I want you to please answer my question. When you say, and this is very interesting because this is a big deal, Alex Jones and Candace Owens, why do you want Alex Jones? Somebody somewhere, anywhere, give me the remotest of an answer. That's all. Doesn't have to be deep. Doesn't have to be just the remotest of an answer. Why? Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. Megyn Kelly, because she could handle the room, though I'm not a big fan. Do you think it's handling the room? Is that what you think it is? Look at this. I just got an email from Kamala Harris. You're not gonna believe this. Democrat. He goes, I know the outcome of the presidential election is not what we wanted. And I know you gave me so much of yourself to the fight. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. As I said Wednesday, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. Every Democrat is here. They're asking for money. They're asking for you to donate money. I just got this thing. They're actually sending this in. Rob Turner says, excuse me, Rob says, I already gave 2 reasons. I like that, Rob Turner. Excuse me, I already gave 2 reasons. You understand? You understand this? I only gave 2 reasons. Van Banner says, have you heard any analysis or possible cover-up stories to explain why Biden $12 million more votes? No, nobody's talking about that. I don't know why. Nobody's talking about this. Kristen Lee said, AJ Hard Truth. What is the truth? What is the goal of the press secretary? What? Here we go. He's the closest we've had to Sam Kinison. You just like people like you like your social media people. You just like to mix them up and that kind of thing, right? Isn't that it? You got that one? Is that it? Candace Owens has a proven record of journalistic honor and trust, articulate and intelligent. Okay. A journalist? Okay, fine. What is the role of the press secretary? Is it to mix it up? Is it to mix it up? How does that help the president? Does it help the president? Look at this. Lionel, who are your picks? You like to criticize. Let's see who you got. Press secretary? I don't even think, I think you should almost abolish it. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Everything's out there. It's become a dog and pony show. It's a circus. You don't need it. Get rid of it. It's a waste of time. It does more harm than good. No, nothing's ever really. They should send out an information. Don't take Q&A. No, nothing. There's no need for it. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was good because she basically argued with people. Who is she arguing with? What is the purpose of it? What are we doing? Why? Sparky says, I think there was more than one conspiracy to kill JFK, unbeknownst to each other. Alan Dulles, Bush, and Ted Cruz's dad were all astonished that someone beat them to it. We don't know this, but that could very well be. And that's what I would do. I would have, of course, compartmentalized. And by the way, we're changing the subject from this, obviously. Crypto says, I think people want AJ for AJ, not a press secretary for the president. Exactly. Exactly. But there's no need for. Have you ever heard any of I've heard every conceivable person you can imagine talk about the JFK assassination. Brad Rung says, looking at my old picks today, 2016 to 2021, all Trump picks and rallies I taped. I can't believe you're right. Never aged, never changed, and movement never stopped. It never did. He never, ever. People would say he's been his core never left him. Others were added on. Let me go back to JFK. By the way, people say, why are you changing subjects? Because people are talking about things. I will tell you, the question I want to know is, and maybe I'm sure Spark O would help us with this. When somebody had to start off with, we have to do it. We have to do this now. Who was that person? When did that happen? Was it a committee? Was it a whatever? Who was that person or persons? Somebody had to say, People might have talked about it. People might have suggested it, but somebody had to say, okay, I've got the plan. We believe it. They tried it in Tampa. I think Miami was one. They were going to do it. Christian, by the way, says, will Jim Acosta go back to harassing Trump? Will AJ duke it out with Acosta? Do you want that? Do you think it helps President Trump to go out and duke it out with Acosta? I'm going back to this question. Remember, people are watching now. They're saying, why are you changing subjects? Because people are asking questions. And this is a group. I'm kind of like a press secretary myself. There are always some people who get very, very frustrated because they don't understand what's going on. Remember, most shows never acknowledge the audience. It's like they do their stuff, and whether you give money or not, I don't even care. I'm going to go back to what Sparky said. Do you think that there was a group of people, you have to ask yourself, who had to be involved in this? Had to be military, had to be intel, because you had other people who knew what was going on. I've got to make sure that J. Edgar Hoover knows what I'm doing so he doesn't inadvertently screw things up. He doesn't have one of his people. You want to tell them, don't go near the grassy knoll. You got it? Okay, I understand. I'm not going to necessarily tell you, but don't go there. Make sure we have to change this route, this movement. Bill Pierce, kayfabe, says it was also said there was a video of a chauffeur shooting JFK smoke and mirrors. That I've not heard of, but I know there was a Secret Service agent who was pulled off of the routine. And also, for some reason, JFK was at the front of the line, which is absurd. Kristen, thank you. We're still going through this. I heard there's a number of them. They never tell you whether it's Tippett, whether it's this story, whether it's the fact that the rifle was a Manica Carcano, but somebody read it as a Mauser, all this stuff. It's just mosaic, but no big picture. Everybody's dead. What was Jack Ruby saying? What was his connection? Was it Carlos Marcello? So if you think there's a file there of the government, you're crazy. I've always heard know about Lucien Sarti. Lucien Sarti was the what's he, Corsican, I think. He was killed in, I think, 72 in Mexico City. He was a guy, he was badge man, they believe. This is a guy who really, he was French. He was born in Corsica. He's Corsican. He was 34, died in Mexico City. Lucien Sarti was an alleged gunman, and he was one of the, he used a frangible bullet, was exploding things, which explains that. He liked to wear uniforms and costumes, which explains why he could have been badge man. It makes the most sense. The actual shooters coming in, remember, through Mexico, crossing the border into Dallas. Just wait for a while. After this, they went to a safe house. They waited 10 days, laid low, and then they went back through and went back. You don't want to get anybody local. You want to get people that if you find them, they have no connection. They don't know what's going on. You don't want each person to know the others. It's not going to be coordinated. So if you catch one, he doesn't know anything. This is what the IRA used to do. They had people who, IRA used to have these, you would meet for an operation, and sometimes people would have a color or something. They wouldn't know who these people were. They never met. So if you're arrested, you say, who's this? I don't know. Did you meet with him? No. Did you conspire with him? I never met the guy. You conspire with somebody else, but that person's not there. Kristen Lee says, Mr. Rel, my dad is Vietnam vet and told me he knew JFK was not what the media reported when he was in Vietnam. He loves Trump. Of course, bless his heart. God bless him. Of course, JFK was a hawk. He was a hardcore. These guys came from World War II. This was a different story. There was a different mindset, especially the way Alan Dulles worked. And by the way, if you want to get somebody who really, because somebody had to do something to elevate the group of people to be so pissed off that they would want to dispatch JFK. And the person who did that is Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy basically guaranteed that they would take it out. And it was a different time then. It was a different time. It was a group of people. It was a different world. One of the most powerful individuals in the old days, when the mob and Appalachian in 57, I think, in upstate New York, one of the most powerful people were a couple. Santo Trafficante from Tampa, Carlos Marcello from New Orleans. Absolutely untouchable. There's nobody today. Maybe the old days, maybe Lucky Luciano, maybe, Meyer Lansky, something like that. But they were so connected by virtue of their connection with the government through, Castro and Barbarossa and all that stuff. Let me say something here. Crypto says, for the sake of the show, let's hope Big Dick talks to Elon Musk at Project Colossus. I'll look for a commentary. Thank you so much. Sparky says, like the movie Reservoir Dogs. Yes. Mr. Pink. Why do I want to be pink? Lawrence Tierney. Wonderful. But you see, I know these people, and I've heard this all my life. They have these wonderful lectures, and they know everything. They know Tippett's gun, Tippett this, Tippett's wife, Tippett, he was left-handed, Tippett was this. He caught the bus. There was a woman, and they give you names all the time. Mary McAllister was standing, they're up the Tallahassee Bridge. She threw this, and she was meeting, and she met somebody, and she got into it, and it was a Rambler, and it was a Tuesday, and she was late for the doctors because Lee Harvey Oswald's wife, Marina, actually was friends with, and you start hearing this, say, well, can you make this? Can you connect this? No. Who did this? I don't know. Motive and opportunity. A lot of people wanted to. Well, do we know who did it? No. But isn't that the point of this? Yes. But if you want all kinds of interesting facts, you know what the best fact is? The best. Number one. The fact that there was a bullet hole in the windshield coming from the opposite the way that Lee Harvey Oswald was. Lee Harvey Oswald was behind you, had to come this way. And they took the car, took it to the factory, replaced the windshield. Come on. That's it right there. Okay, there's a conspiracy. Why? More than two people. You've got Lee Harvey Oswald. All right. And that's it. We don't know anything. A lot of opportunity, yeah. Guy Bannister. Okay. What's the guy's name? There's all these. I've been through this my whole life. There's no there. Bobby Kennedy Jr. Oh, that's even simpler. They even know the guy, Caesar, whatever. They even know the guy, the shooter. There were too many bullets. And Bobby Kennedy Jr. is worried about ivermectin. And if this were my father, I'd say, I'm not doing anything until I get an official statement. They did this to my father. And I've got this, and this. And they did it. And this was MK Ultra. Maybe Sirhan Sirhan had nothing to do with this. And Bobby Kennedy's the most quiet person. Well, I'm not sure. I think he said he was with Cheryl. And I think we're going to stop off and talk to him. What? Now, I don't know this, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody ever said to him, you do know that you are now the son of a dispatched famous person. And just like Wills found out and others, if you think you're going to get to the bottom of this, if you think you're out of your mind, you're never going to talk about this. You're never going to discuss this. All this money you got coming in from your trust, that's over with. You know how many Kennedys there are? Oh my God. Just Bobby's family alone. So it's Bobby, and then there's obviously Bobby, then there's Jean, and then there's others, and then all of the grandkids, and then they've got grandkids, and they've got great-grand. I mean, there's I don't know, 1,000. Who knows? You never hear of one of them. And now here's Mandelbrot Kennedy. Who was that? Well, that's Joe's Ethel. That's the cut. Nobody ever rises to the top and says, I'm going to now tell you what I know, because being a Kennedy, nothing. You never hear a word. Carolyn Kennedy, nothing. Notice that Schlossberg, notice that son, the guy who thinks he was weird. This guy's not tweaking, or I don't know what he's doing. He had all the trappings of some mental illness breakdown when he was doing these weird duck voices. I'll bet you anything. Don't be surprised if he was in some rehab like that. You're a Kennedy. You ain't going to do this. Okay. If you think you're going to go on and act like to make a fool out of yourself, no. We got enough of that problem. We got enough of that with poor Patrick showing up on he's 2:00 in the morning in his underwear. He wants to vote. Anyway, I digress. Bobby Kennedy Jr., as great as he is, with all the great videos and all the great stuff, doesn't say anything about his father. He knows more stuff. Do you know how much stuff he knows? Count the bullets. Why is there powder deposition on Bobby Kennedy behind his ear? Sir hands across the room. What's that? Stop right there. I don't have to go anywhere. You don't need to. This is simple. Nothing. But he's going to get to the bottom of additives in food. Yellow dye number 15. Okay, that's important. But what about your father? We'll talk about that in a moment. Wait a minute. Doesn't your mother who died? My mother was always ask the questions. What's this about? That's all. And when you say, changing the subject, I want Alex Jones. Well, what do you want? You live in a world where you just love excitement. You just love, hey, did you see this? I'm going to send you this. Did you see Alex? Did you see AJ? It was great. I'll send it to you. Yeah, he was doing a press conference and he mooned Jim Acosta. I'll send this to you. That's what you live. Is that good? I don't care if it's good. I liked it. It was wonderful. Like these people who sit in their car and they scream and yell. Is that good for President Trump? I don't know. It's good for me. Mark Alicia says JFK 9/11 Nord Stream. I doubt we will ever know the truth of who the conspirators were. Do you? Nord Stream. Oh, we did that one. But listen, Cy Hirsch. You don't think Putin knows about that? Of course they do. And sometimes you keep that in as a bargaining chip. Like, okay, we're gonna. Listen, I'm going to ask you a question. I can ask you a question. Joe Rogan ran up. Moon landing. Oh, my God. If there was anything to this, after all Putin did, they went after Putin with this. They went after Putin with Ukraine. They went after Putin. They went after Putin. They went crazy. Putin's like, I'm up to have an update here. The sanctions of this. They're basically sending in missiles. You think you could say, hey, listen. Yeah, hi. George? Yeah. Vlad Putin here. How you doing? Listen, you need a fax machine? Yeah. We trust. I'm sending you over something. Yeah. Go to your fax machine. I'm going to send it to you. Oh, wait a second. Tell me when you got it. Okay, you got that? You know what that is? That's the studio set of the moon and blah, 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 because we went to the moon. Well, we went to space first. We were actually way ahead of you. That's why you did this. We did Laika, we did Yuri Gagarin, and we did the first woman, the first monkey, the first everything. And our people know a lot of stuff. And we know exactly how you either did or didn't do that. Now, if you don't cut this out, we're going to spill the beans on the one small step for man. You got that? Why hasn't he done that? Why hasn't he done that? I put an end to that. You think every Russian president says, if I got to hear about this moon one more time, I know we got it. I know, but we got it. Does this make any sense? You tell me. I've got friends of mine who says, don't you understand? I've got a friend of mine who's probably watching right now. He's an expert. Why? He's got videos. He's got YouTube videos. And this is true. The dust wasn't on the step, and there's no stars, and the sun's coming here, and the lens, and the suit was too thin, and the radiation of Van Allen belts. Got all this information. He knows everything. He knows everything in the world. He knows. You don't think Putin knows anything? You don't think Putin knows anything? You don't think Vlad Bad Vlad doesn't say, I'm gonna fix this once and for all. You want to send a rocket? You're giving money? You're giving rockets to Zelensky to kill me? Okay, that's it. Game's off. I have a press conference. This is a post. Does this make any sense to you? Does this make any sense to you? Do you think that Vladimir Putin has more information than the people who have a YouTube channel on it? Yes or no? Yes. So why hasn't he? Why? Does this make any sense to you? There's a certain degree of does this make any sense to you? Sparky says, and this is important, Sparky says, how many of the girls screaming in their car in 2024 are actually trying to become an icon? Like the girl with the watch cap in 2016 screaming at the sky. Excuse me, that was Jessica Starr. And Jessica Starr was actually legitimate. She was not in a car. Somebody filmed her. These people are in the car, and you might be onto something there. They may be actually in their car trying to be the next, whatever you want to call it, influencer or what have you. Oh, no, but she was legitimate. These people who say, and they said their thing, they said there. It's a calculator, but okay. Okay, guys. I want you to know that if you want to do this race, excuse me, hello, hang on, Jerry, what is it? Hang on, Jimmy. Yeah, Mom. Jerry, is that you in the basement? Yeah, it's me. Who are you talking to? I'm talking to the world, I guess. Are you yelling? Yeah, I'm yelling. Why are you yelling? I'm yelling because I want it's for my real. Everybody does it. You know how we go through, the people eat Tide Pods or they eat cinnamon or whatever. It's a fad. It's a fad. Yeah. Why are you yelling? Can you keep it down? I can't keep it down because I got to scream. Remember a while back, Sparky, remember this one? The first one I ever saw, this was a long time, it was Leave Britney Alone. Remember this one? He had a blanket over him, like a baby blanket with a light, and he was screaming, Leave Britney Alone. Remember that? That was the first one that I remember. And they were off and running. People who are sitting, I love the way they feel like there's this, it's interesting. It's their own commentary. Some would say there's a bit of humility. They'll say, look, I'm good at this. I'm new at this. Just want to give my opinion. As opposed to, I know you're wanting to hear me. I know you want to hear me because I have the last word on this. And I'm, and I think a lot of times, Sparky, very frankly, people really, really, really think that they are important. Very, very critically important. Absolutely. Now, my friends, I want to remind you of a couple of things. If you want to really stick it to the man, do one of two things. Number one, this is the most important part. MyPillow.com. They made more fun of him. They laughed at him. SNL laughed at Mike Lindell. They tried to bankrupt him, ruin him. They did everything in their power. Remember that he was going to sell. He's out of business. And he's still there. Bed Bath & Beyond's not. They were the first ones to cancel. They're gone. He's still there. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. This is not, I don't want you to go there and buy everything because you feel sorry for them. That's not what we're saying. We're talking about the most incredible stuff available for you to luxuriate. And if you go to mypillow.com/Lionel, look at what's coming up right now. Look at this. You're not going to believe this as I speak to you. Classic Christmas sales, classic sales. Look at this classic collection, $14.88. Flannel sheets, my mattress topper, my towels, 6-piece towel sets, my slippers, all perfect for Dada Grad. Makes a great stocking stuffer. And yes, Mama makes julienne fries. 4-pack dish towel sets. It goes on and on and on. Pet blankets and coffee. MyPillow.com/Lionel. Remember, it's more than, yes, you're helping them, but you're helping the cause. And the response has been saying, People are saying it's great that Trump is in. That's wonderful. But we are going to stack up, and stock up on food, on emergency food by going to preparewithlionel.com. I'm glad that he's in. Thank you. Good for you, sir. Good for you. Yes. But through Helene and Milton and God knows what they're going to unleash and what China owns. You know what? We're not even going to worry about that. The response has been incredible. When gold prices go up, and this is important, when prepared food and emergency food, not just MREs. You don't just want something, you don't want, oh, here's a, MREs are great. They're wonderful. You go on a camping trip, it's good. You want to do 6 weeks, 3 months, it's a different story. The variety, the packaging, the reuse with a 25-year shelf life, preparewithlionel.com. Look at this. I also got another one. I got this email. Look at this. Actually, this is our weird account. It says, I know the outcome of the presidential election is not what you wanted. And they're asking for more money. Now, I told you, I also have a friend of mine who is this demented person who sits at home all day. He's angry over Trump. Here's the latest thing he sends me. TikTok, March of the MAGAs. He expects people to somehow, I guess, change their mind. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do. But remember, I want you to do this. You're going to be talking to somebody about Trump. And they're going to ask you for your, I don't know, your advice or whatever. And you're going to say, I know. Be a grief counselor. I know. And if Trump is his representative, I know. It's hard. It's not hard. Just stop acting like I'm crazy. No, I'm not saying you're crazy. Be very calm. Look, you put a lot into this. And don't say anything about what's her name. Nothing. Just feel like just be the friend. Just be the friend. And also, critical thinking. I want to go back to this one more time. Nobody can answer why you want Alex Jones as a press secretary. In fact, 2016 girl can be put on continuous loop. The 2024 girls, most of the time, don't even get played all the way through once. Yes. In fact, somebody suggested that her name is Jessica Starr, Starr. There was also the tragic case of a newscaster or something who took her own life, I think. But this is a different one. We don't know anything about her. But if she somehow copyrighted that or got some intellectual property protection, that could be her thing. I would be immediately at some intellectual property attorney and find out, what do I have to do I want to own this. She started it. But remember, it was the leave Britney alone thing. That's it. So anyway, I know nobody is saying, I don't really know why I want Alex Jones. I don't really know about that. I just kind of like him, and I guess I can't differentiate between, government and policy and what helps the president. I just like good videos. I just like people yelling and screaming, and I like arrest videos. And I don't blame you. I'm the same way. But do you really want, seriously, Alex? Look at this. I got this that thing in the background. It's always listening to me. Do you really want him perhaps talking about the New World Order, going off script, and Trump is about to negotiate something. And he talks about bankers or something, or there's something coming up, and he says something in stocks. But do they say, listen, Al, you can't, this isn't a radio show. You can't do that. Yeah, but I know you're mixing it up, Al, but I got something going on with friends. We've got a big deal coming on, and I don't need you doing that. Do you really trust him? No. You may like him. I like him. I think he's a genius. You do your best job outside. Candace Owens, who was terrific. Her investigation of Kamala, wonderful. Remember she knocked on the door of the BLM head? That was great. Remember she was friends with Kanye? I don't know what that was about. Whatever. Doesn't make her a bad person. Sparky says, irony is strong with Alex as press secretary. So there's that. No, I don't want irony. Let me try this again. And you know this. You know this. What happens if he gets and he says something really, let's say right now, the president, and you know this, and I know even you, especially you, my friend, because Sparky, you're a strong man. But do you think it's a good idea for if President Trump is trying to negotiate the Middle East, not to say anything that is particularly antagonizing of either Iran or Hezbollah or Israel? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a good idea? Would you recommend going on to say, you say, Alex, you say whatever you want about Israel. You let them have it. Use the word genocide. Go ahead. Tell them it's apartheid, ethnic cleansing. Go ahead and do that. You do that. Do you think it's a good idea? Sparky, I'm asking you, or anybody. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it might be a thing? We're kind of trying to work this. There is this diplomacy thing. You think that's it? You think it'd be interesting for Alex to show that picture of Zelensky playing the piano with his whatever? You think it's a good idea? You don't. If you want to kill Alex Jones, put him in government. He's not there all the time. He's on the TV all the time. And you also don't want somebody who loves the camera. You want somebody who is almost reluctant. Somebody says, okay, well, we'll do this. Karine Jean-Pierre did not enjoy the camera. She was made to sound like a fool. Always ask yourself, what is it that I'm saying? What is it that I want? If you can say, look, I don't give a damn what this does to the country, President Trump. I want a good mix-up. No, but it would be funny. Oh, absolutely. Here's one, too. You know who was one of the most worthless, but funny? John Kennedy. Yes, it's as big as Dallas. Can I buy some crack cocaine? He's a rube. He's an ineffectual nincompoop. Some hayseed podunk, but he's funny. And that's what you're like. He's funny. Okay. He doesn't do a damn thing. Jim Jordan, nothing. They haven't done anything. Fauci, Hunter Biden, nothing. Now, here's the question. Is Biden going to pardon Trump? Huh? Alex can talk about frogs. Yes, he can. Listen, that's okay. We're just, you're just throwing names out. Thomas Sowell. What is he, 90-some years old? He retired. No, I want Mearsheimer, Secretary of State, McGregor for Defense Department. I do not want Marco Rubio. I do not want Mike Pompeo. I do not want any of these usual suspects. I don't want, who else do they say? Oh God, the Marco Rubio. No. Bobby Kennedy. No, not in the government. Be a consultant. There are people in the FCC or FDA who do things that are kind of boring. They deal with, whatever their jurisdiction is, antibiotics, and whether this particular heart medication could be approved. That's not the exciting stuff. It's like when you work for the Supreme Court. A lot of the cases, most of them are very boring. Christian says, should Trump pardon Adams? Oh, he will. Oh, absolutely, he will. Oh, absolutely. Count on it. Why? Because he knows firsthand what it means for these people to be the subject of lawfare. That's what they did to Eric Adams. Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And the best one is you don't understand that Joe Biden hates what they did. Oh, and also front page, front story before, I don't know how true this is, but it's but I like to think it was true. Obama cannot figure out why people loathe him. He's lost all of his cachet, all of his importance. All right? Okay, my friends, an hour and a half. Grinnell for AG. Yeah. No, not AG. He might be good for, Intel, whatever. No, AG is going to be somebody you've never heard of before. It's the Attorney General, as long as he's not a shill, is a lot of it is not what you think it is. Merrick Garland just sold his soul. He will never be able to get away from that one. Anyway, have a great day. We will talk. Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you so much for all of your help. Oh, there's Sparky again. Sparky says pardoning Trump would be a good move by Joe to maybe keep Trump's Justice Department away from him and his family. Yeah, but also it would be a real FU to the Democratic establishment. And that's what he wants more than anything else. Sparky Christian Janice, thank you. Thank you. Top ranking. Oh, look at this. I missed this one. Thanks for what you do, Lionel. Love and respect from LA. Thank you, Top. Good news. I understand that your Mr. Gascon was removed. And also the DA of Alameda County was recalled as well. Mark Kalisha, thank you. Crypto CD, Kristen Lay, Bill Pierce, Kayfabe, brother. See Brad Wrong, thank you. And Van Banners, Christian Janice, Extra Mile, YouTube. Let me see. Thank you so much. Let's see. George Lynch. Oh, Through the Lens. Mark Kalisha, I think I mentioned. And Too Legit. Thank you. What a great day. Don't be surprised if the strategy of this matters. By the way, final word. Obama's dead. I mean, politically dead. Gone, dead, finished, done. Billie Eilish, all those people. Oprah paid $1 million from the campaign. $1 million. Everybody was paid. Nobody did it for free. Nobody. Now, I don't know about in the case of Trump, but I think most of the people there probably volunteered. Maybe I'm just a naive person. I don't even know. But I wouldn't be surprised if they volunteered their time because they believe in Trump. Nobody believed in her, including Oprah. And by the way, she is so through. She, Clooney, the usual suspects, Tom Hanks, because guess what they're worried about? Guess what they're worried about? All right, my friends, have a great and a glorious day. You are the reason God made Oklahoma. I love you. Thank you for subscribing. Lionel Nation, and also follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Until later, my friends, remember the monkey's dead. The show's over soon. Oh, by the way, tonight I'm doing something with my good friend Sean Atwood later today. So I don't know. We might move it up from 7 to 8. Just stay subscribed, and you'll always know what we're doing. All right, friends, have a great day. Don't forget the monkey's dead. Show's over soon. Ta-ta.